Someone uploaded a photo of their late grandmother. Then uploaded a recent family photo. They wanted one image with her in it, standing next to her grandchildren she never met. That's the request. Sounds simple. It is not. This tool, animatedphotos.org, lets you merge a person from one photo into another photo using AI. The pitch is emotional: add a loved one who passed away into a family moment they missed. A wedding. A graduation. A birthday. But building it? That broke 3 assumptions in the first weekend alone. Let's start with what it actually does, because the demo is genuinely impressive when it works. You upload 2 images. The tool isolates the person you want to insert, cutting them from their original background using segmentation models. Then it places them into the target scene. But here's where the engineering starts to get uncomfortable: it doesn't just paste. It attempts to match lighting direction, adjust skin tones to fit the target photo's color grading, and scale the person to match the perspective of the scene. When you're merging 2 photos from the same era, same lighting conditions, similar resolution, the output can be indistinguishable from a real photograph. We tested it with several photo pairs, and a handful of results genuinely fooled people in blind tests. The workflow is fast on the front end. Upload, wait roughly 30 to 60 seconds, download. No account required. No subscription wall for the basic merge. The site processes everything server-side, which means you don't need any local GPU or software setup. What surprised me was what happens when you push the edges. Take a crisp 2024 smartphone photo and try to merge it with a 1940s black and white portrait. The model struggles. It can desaturate and add grain, but the facial geometry, the sharpness of modern sensor optics versus the soft focus of vintage film, creates an uncanny valley effect that the model can't fully resolve. The person looks pasted, not placed. So here's what this tool does not do, and this matters if you're thinking about using it for anything serious. It does not understand 3-dimensional space. It works in 2D. If the target scene has foreground objects that should naturally occlude the inserted person, a table in front of them, a fence post, another person's arm, the tool doesn't know that. The inserted figure floats on top. It also does not handle extreme pose mismatch as well. If your source photo shows someone in profile and the target scene calls for a frontal pose, the output will look wrong. There's no 3D reconstruction happening here. No pose normalization. It's a sophisticated compositing tool, not a generative model that invents new views of a person. Lighting is the other hard wall. The tool attempts color matching, but it's working from 2D cues. If the target scene has strong directional light from the left and your source photo was shot under flat indoor lighting, the inserted person won't cast a shadow that matches. The brain notices that instantly, even if it can't articulate why. What could this realistically become? A few things are plausible in the near term. Better depth estimation models are getting cheap enough to run at scale. Integrating something like Depth Anything V2 could give the tool a rough 3D map of the target scene, which would solve the occlusion problem for most common cases. Lighting estimation from single images is also advancing fast. Models that can infer the dominant light source direction from an image exist today and could be bolted onto this pipeline to relight the inserted person more convincingly. Shadow generation is a solvable problem with current diffusion in painting. The tool could generate a plausible shadow after placement. None of this is fantasy. These are existing research outputs that haven't been assembled into a consumer product yet. The more ambitious path is identity preserving in painting, using models like IP Adapter or Instant ID to generate a person in a new pose and lighting condition while preserving their face. That would eliminate the pose mismatch problem entirely. But it also introduces a new one: hallucination. The model might get the face 90% right and introduce subtle artifacts that make the result feel artificial in a different way. So why does this exist? Because the alternative is Photoshop. And Photoshop takes hours of skilled work to produce what this tool does in 60 seconds, even imperfectly. The target user isn't a photo editor. It's someone who lost a parent before a grandchild was born and wants one image, not a masterpiece, just a memory. The emotional use case drives the engineering requirement. And that's actually what made this a hard project. The people using it aren't comparing it to professional compositing. They're comparing it to nothing, because nothing existed before that was accessible to them. The bar isn't technical perfection. The bar is emotional believability. That gap between technical imperfection and emotional sufficiency is exactly where this tool lives. And honestly, that's a more interesting place to build than chasing benchmark scores. Next episode, we're looking at a tool that does the opposite. It takes a single image and tears it apart to find out if it was AI generated. Different problem, same messy reality. Subscribe so you don't miss it.